NFR Extra, we're going to take you behind the scenes in a way you've never heard before. Every 2 weeks, you're going to hear personal conversations with the icons and personalities that make up the world's richest and most prestigious rodeo. NFR Extra. All dirt, all rodeo, all year.
I'm your host, Nevada Caldwell.
And this is Bo Gardner.
Episode 13. It's a lucky number, right? In
Yes,
Vegas.
it is.
Yeah. Doesn't exist on elevators.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
However, we definitely struck gold. We got lucky with this one with the two guests that we have, and well, they're pretty entertaining. One does one from a social media aspect and all over the country, and another one, well, he does it from a stage.
He does.
Who are these cats that we brought on here for episode 13?
Well, the first cat has a nickname, Kojo, otherwise known as Cody Johnson and Dale Brisby, who both give us an insight on where they will be during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think we caught these guys on their rise to fame, right?
Yes, we did.
So it's a good thing that we
Lucky.
got Kojo before he's selling out stadiums everywhere on this earth.
And V, you and I were talking to Cody Johnson.
It was cool, too.
It was great.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Haley Kinsel, and you're listening to NFR Extra.
This is Bo's Bull, the rodeo news of the week.
This is Brylan covering Rodeo News of the Week. PRCA Stat of the Week. Saddle bronc rider Brody Kress earned $60,000+ in just over a month. Stetson Wright makes a comeback in Ellensburg, Washington in the saddle bronc riding after a broken jaw, looking to make the finals in 2 events.
Yeah, he's looking on point. I saw some highlights.
Yes.
He didn't miss a beat.
Not at all. He made it back to the short round.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
Tim O'Connell won the short round in Ellensburg, Washington with an 88-point ride abroad Calgary Stampede's Zula Warrior to claim the 2-head average with 172 points, earning $8,000.
I think Stetson and Tim probably had a little party after that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got one guy who pretty much didn't rodeo all year, right?
Yeah.
And now he is, and now he's in the top 15. And another guy broke his jaw. And
When you're good.
Yeah. You got to want it, right?
Yep.
According to PRCA, this is placing Tim O'Connell firmly inside the top 10.
Okay, top 10, not 15. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Top 3 in the women's barrel racing are Nellie Miller, Haley Kinsel, and Lisa Lockhart.
Tell us a little more about that, Brian.
There's a pretty good gap between 3rd and 4th right now.
That's you got 2 of our past champions here kind of battling out. That makes for an interesting December, right?
Oh, but don't count Lisa out.
That's right. She's a legend.
I'll get whiplash for that on social media for saying that, because Lisa, everybody loves Lisa Lockhart.
Wait, can we add another note?
I think so.
We got to give a shout out to Mr. Sage Kimsey. Yes, Sage Kimsey just won the Extreme Bull Riding event for the PRCA, totaling over $300,000 in prize money.
Is it safe to say he's got a room full of gold, lots of gold?
Yes.
That he's acquired over the past 5 years?
I sure hope so.
For more information about the world standings and the National Finals Rodeo, visit NFRExperience.com. And however you listen to us, Google, Apple, Spotify, make sure to hit subscribe.
Cody Johnson, welcome to the NFR Extra podcast. How you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm ready to get to Vegas.
I think
I think Vegas is ready for you. Yeah, we've spent. I've had the opportunity to be in Vegas in December for the last 6 years, and my friend Ryan Growney over at the South Point has given us a great home. And this year we're shaking it up a little bit, going to the Hard Rock Casino and doing something a little different, which is I kind of have mixed feelings about. You get used to doing one thing, but man, I'm really excited to have a bigger stage and more crowd, and obviously to go get to see the performances of Thomas and Mack.
We are so excited to have you. You know, you've got great partners now. With Resistol, I got me actually a Kojo Resistol, and I heard you're actually coming out with some new cologne, Kojo cologne.
Kojo cologne. It's going to be out. We're projecting it to be out this fall. We're trying to get it out before Christmas. And Ricky Bowen, who's obviously he's with Resistol. He's a friend of mine. We went into business together with a friend of ours named Woody Lee and started this thing. Yeah, man. After the patent line coming out. Got the straws out for the summer. We got Phelps coming out. We may as well put some cologne with it. Who knows? We might start doing Kojo lunch boxes and Kojo underwear.
Hey, Bo will wear your Kojo underwear.
hey, only underoos for me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, dude, what a your friend Ryan Growney, of course, he's friends with all of us at Las Vegas events, and he's on the NFR committee now. So he is a big influence with what we do. Very respectable man, but like you said, he kind of said to you, "Hey, go for the money, Cody. It's a Hard Rock."
He said that. He said, you're going to outgrow this place. And I went, no way. Yeah. Then the next year it was bigger, and the next year it was bigger, and it was just kept getting. Now you can't hardly get into South Point the nights that we're playing there in the showroom rather, and it was an honor to have Ryan Growney and Mr. Glenn and Michael Glenn we tried to figure out every way we could to make it happen there at South Point, and to have that kind of blessing from Ryan Growney, which is, I respect him so much, to have that blessing. Hey, go chase what you're chasing, man. Go get go get your money and play for a bigger audience, and I thought it was a really respectable thing that they did for me there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Give us some details for where you're playing. We know you mentioned the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, which will soon be the Virgin Resort. But this year, you will be one of the last performers inside the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in the Joint. So, give us the dates and let us know what you have.
Well, it's going to be on Thursday, December 12th, like you said, at the Joint inside the Hard Rock Casino. I was aware that's changing too, so that's kind of a cool thing. I think that's a cool Vegas thing to get to be one of some of the last guys to play it. That's always a cool thing for a musician to be like, hey, I was one of the last guys to play there when it was the Hard Rock. So I think that we've been to Vegas some during the off season, not during December, and I think that's helped with our crowd. We've got. Our last single, On My Way to You, went gold. So we've obviously had a lot more radio play around the Las Vegas area and in the areas where people will be traveling from, way more so than we have in years past. So that's a huge factor, too, is I'm looking forward to seeing the effects of having a top 10 single that went gold and see what happens. And we've just released our newest single, Nothing on You, so we're hoping to have some crowd just off of that.
Well, you'll be filling up other venues here pretty soon with the crowds we've been seeing you create there, Cody. I mean, the Hard Rock and what a great place for you to kind of close out for this year with us. That a long line of a lot of musicians have played that, as you're well aware, and that's pretty sweet. I got a question for you. So, obviously, a lot of people are looking up to you. There's a lot of fans, and we use the word hero a lot, right? Who do you look up to? Who's who's one of your heroes? Whether it be a country artist, someone that's in rodeo, anybody. Who's someone you look up to, or someone that you that's always kind of in the back of your heart there as a hero?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough question because I kind of have a lot of heroes for a lot of different reasons. I'm a part of an organization in Texas called the Tejas Vaqueros, and there's a lot of men that I look up to in that organization that I can call with any business question. I can call with any marital question, a personal matter. You know, and I think that Gary LeFew, which I know you all know who he is, but Gary LeFew told me one time, he said, remain in a constant state of positive expectancy and place good people, place them kind of men around you that you want to be. And I've always taken that advice to heart. And I believe that, you know, I don't know that I'll look up to or have a hero that is anybody notable that I can name that you would know as far as musicians or big rodeo stars. It's mostly my friends in the Taos Vaqueros and the men that I've put around me, and my manager Howie and my producer Trent Willman. I do believe that you're only as good as the company you keep, and I know that I can call those men for anything and ask them and be vulnerable with them and say, man, look, I feel like I've screwed up here, or you know, I feel like I'm in a funk over here, and there's no judgment there. It's all out of those guys loving me and wanting to see me succeed. So. Sorry if that wasn't the answer you're looking for, but that's just the truth.
That was a better answer, actually. Seriously.
Hey, Cody, Roger Krager said he thought he was your hero.
He is my hero. You can tell him I said that.
Hey, he's my ranchero brother. He'll be also performing in Vegas during the NFR, and I think he's playing at the Silverton. Yeah, so
yes,
good for you guys, man.
He's also a vaquero. He mavericked a couple of years ago in the vaqueros.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, if you don't know, you don't need to know.
That's great. Hey, so you know you recently partnered with Warner Music out of Nashville, right? Created your own imprint with Kojo Music. So tell our fans what it means to have a partnership with Warner Music.
Yeah, that's huge.
Well, it's a huge thing. I mean, especially for a guy that spent 6 years being an independent artist. I mean, I'm 6 albums as an independent artist. I've been playing for 13 years now. And it's you know, I came from the culture where there was this, don't go to Nashville. If you go to Nashville, you're a sellout. And I'm just going to be as blunt as I feel like I need to be. You're only a sellout if you're a sellout, and you're only a sellout if you're changing your hair and changing your face and changing your music and the way things go, just to please whatever's popular, so you can get rich and famous real quick. I agree that to me that's selling out. But I think I've always had this goal in the back of my mind to be able to walk into that town, be myself and be accepted for who I am, and if not, I'm not going to go run crying to the house like a little brat, and I'm not going to start saying, well, forget you guys. I'm just going to go back to doing what I'm doing. God has blessed me so much in the fact that I make a great living. Before all this, I made a great living providing for my family after years of hard work and kicking those doors in. And, you know, I've got a great band that I know I can count on. And you know, I don't have anything to be ungrateful for. I have everything to be thankful for. So, the reason I say this is because I didn't have to go in there and go, please sign me. I'm starving. Please sign me. I don't have any leverage. Please. We just kind of said, look, here's our album. I'm not changing my producer. I'm not changing my booking agent. I'm not changing my manager. I'm not changing my band. I want to be a 50-50 partner. I keep my masters. I keep my publishing. I have creative control. I pick the singles. And they went, okay. And it blew my mind because nobody in town was willing to do that except for Warner Music Nashville. So,
man, that is.
And hats off to them.
Congratulations.
I feel like they're really breaking ground. I feel like they're breaking ground in country music as one of the largest labels in town to have an independent artist still literally, guys, getting to literally still be independent.
That's cool. That's really cool. I mean, that's fantastic. Well, so on top of that, and anything I'm gathering from you, Cody, a lot of gratitude. You got a lot of appreciation to life.
Oh yeah.
I can feel it. So you're on the road a lot, and as you know, for us on the NFR, we're looking at our social media a lot. We're looking at other rodeos, and you're at these rodeos. So what's it like being on the road to the NFR? You know, knowing that you'll be in December, and you've been doing it for many years now. What's it like being a country artist on the road to the NFR, going to these rodeos, knowing that you're a part of a group that's leading up, that's all looking forward to coming to Vegas? What's that like?
Well, I think it's a little different for me, as opposed to other artists who don't have Western heritage. They don't walk that way of life. You know, it may not be a big a deal to those guys or those girls, but to me, for a guy whose dream was that was my first dream. I mean, I wanted to ride bulls, and I did for a little while. And I wasn't great, but I wasn't bad either. You know, it was just one of those, God had a purpose for my life, and it wound up being this way to get to the NFR. I think it's more surreal for me because I get to walk back behind the chutes. You know, it's kind of cool. You get kind of a free pass at these deals. You can just walk back behind the chutes or walk in the locker rooms and nobody cares. Because, there's Cody Johnson. You know, but it's fun because I get to have the camaraderie with these cowboys and still be around it, and it fuels my fire to make sure that the cowboy way is alive and well in my life, period. Because, you know, my wife and I, we've been trying cutting horses for a year and still haven't really found the one we're going to buy, but I'm showing a lot of horses for guys. Been looking at a couple of head horses and just recently finished out my barn, and, you know, I've got my 4-year-old girl. That's the first thing she asked for the other day. She said, "Daddy, next year for Christmas, can I get a horse?" I'm like, well, there went that, you know. So I think it means more to me playing these rodeos and knowing that these guys and girls are going up and down the road listening to my music, fueling their dream. That's a pretty honorable deal there.
Oh, man. You know, you share the same sentiment that Charlie Daniels has about rodeo. He didn't ride bulls like you, but he says the same thing. And to the point of getting access behind the chutes, and he said he feels like a little kid when he gets access back there. And yet they're like the same thing. Oh, it's Charlie Daniels, you know. Too funny. You guys sound exactly the same, the fandom of what you get to do. That's awesome.
So, Cody, we have one last question to wrap this up, and again, we appreciate your time. But what kept you busy, man, before you decided the music career to be your full-time job? So we know family is a part-time, also a full-time job. Envy lives it. You know, he's got a family with some kids, and that's his full-time job too. So, yeah, you know, just what's it like? What did you do prior to?
You're going to laugh, but when my wife met me, I was breaking colts and working as a prison guard.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Oh, my dad worked in the prison system for 32 years in the state of Texas, and I've said this in several interviews, but I feel like in a small town, you grow up, you do what your daddy did. And I think if I'd have been born in West Virginia, I could have just as well been mining coal.
Oh, man.
I grew up in, you know, you got a prison farm, and it's got insurance and benefits and retirement. And I'm not a great student. I failed most everything I took in high school. I had okay grades, but I was doing collegiate level English, writing papers, but I couldn't solve the Pythagorean theorem to save my dadgum life. So, I think that it was just one of those, man. It's an easy job to go do. It was natural. I was around it. You tell people you worked in a prison, they're like, it's not that big a deal if you were raised around it. You know what I mean? If you're raised around a prison farm, it's not that big a deal. And it's not like hell every day. There's not blood pouring through the hallways every day. It was a decent job, and it had its ups and its downs. And long story short, my wife and my warden at the time were both encouraging me to quit my job. And my warden's point was, son, there's always going to be this job. If you go try this music thing and you decide, I just want to come back and take college classes and be a warden someday, prison will always be there. And I was like, well, you know, I took that jump, and it was scary. My wife actually quit her job and took she quit going to school, pardon me. She quit going to school and took 2 really crappy jobs in order to supplement our income so I could go out and play when I didn't get paid. So I love my wife very much for that.
Man, that is awesome.
Absolutely.
Hey, you may have failed at your grades, but you're not failing at life, Cody. That's anything I'm getting out of this.
I got something right.
Wow, this is This is fantastic. This is I'm glad we had you on. This is you got it going on. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I
Hey,
appreciate
Cody,
your time, too.
I always share that. I share that photo. I think in Colorado Springs, and I was lucky enough to sit on your bus just because I was hanging out with Ryan Growney. But I was sitting there, and you were strumming some new music, and I've heard a few of them that's been released since then. But I still send that photo to Growney saying, dude, how could you fall asleep listening to that guy? Come on.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you how, but we won't say it on the
air. Oh, man. Well, thank you very much. This was, man, thanks for spending some time.
Hey, looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
You bet, man. Hey, I can see you guys in December. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, rock that hard rock, man. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to see you over there.
You bet. Hey, I appreciate you guys.
All right, man.
All right. Thanks, Kojo. Talk to you soon.
Talk later.
Bye.
For more information about NFR and Cowboy Christmas, please visit nfrexperience.com. And while you're listening, don't forget to hit subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play for the NFR podcast.
Howdy, I'm Bob Tallman, and this is NFR Extra.
Bo, man, episode 13. Once again, on episode 12, we had a return guest, and here we go again. We have Mr. Dale Brisby joining the show. Welcome to the show, Dale.
It's good to be here. I'm glad you guys had me out. I'm not surprised, but again, thanks for rolling out the red carpet.
As usual, no problem.
Well, our red carpet has a little bit of rodeo arena dirt on it. Is that okay?
Well, it's about to get a whole lot more because you got Mr. Rodeo himself walking up it. You know what I'm saying?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right, let's get in.
Dale, we see you a lot. Obviously, you're a major influencer on a lot of social media. We see you out in the arena. We see you at all these rodeos, and you know, your name is becoming more and more common after each rodeo event. But you know, we also see and hear a lot from your interns that you have working with you and doing some filming and also involved in a lot of the messages that you put out there. So tell us a little bit about your interns.
Yeah, how are those interns working out?
Well, you know, I mean, the whole reason my social media is blowing up is just because people are interested. They want to know. They want to see the man behind the sunglasses. And
that's right.
So they're like, you know, they want to learn from the best. They want to, how is this guy just so good looking, entertaining, just such a cowboy, so on and so forth. So that's where I like to see all my followers. They're all kind of like miniature interns to some degree.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
What I do is I allow people for a small fee to come into my life and observe. And sometimes they get to stay on as, you know, long-term interns that, you know, the harder they work, the less they have to pay me pretty much. So, but yeah, sometimes I'll put them on some of the bulls here at Radiator Ranch. They'll go to some of the rodeos with me. But they basically just get an inside look. It's an opportunity of a lifetime, if you think about it. I mean, hey, how many people get to live on Radiator Ranch and watch Dale Brisby? So they just get to be around greatness, pretty much. So
Dale, we have a gentleman by the name of Cody Johnson that's going to be a co-host for you on this episode. So should we contact his agent and make sure that, you know, you guys work out the financial arrangements? Maybe he has to pay you also to be on this show with you. Who? Cody Johnson.
The great Kojo.
Huh.
Yeah, Kojo.
Kojo, that sounds familiar. Kojo.
Yeah.
Kojo. Where have I heard that name? Maybe you know what? I think, he ran the de-rigging shoot up here.
It's him.
I think that's is that who we're talking about? Played the guitar a little. Runs the
a little bit.
That's what.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now I know who you're talking about. Kojo.
Yes.
Kojo Nation. Yeah, if he wants to come into the program, that's completely fine with me.
Perfect.
There is going to be a price associated with that, but as much money as he makes running de-rigging shoots, I'm sure he can afford it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, speaking of the NFR, great music. He's been killing it with South Point, and now outgrew that place, and they're moving over to Hard Rock, which I'm sure that will be short-lived too because he'll need to fill up the T-Mobile. With that being said, Dale, what are the plans for NFR? I know we didn't touch on this too much last time we talked to you, but what are the Dale Brisby plans for the 10 nights in NFR this year?
Well, I kind of got the same vibe going with my signing. Kojo, I remember him as an up and comer, and I gave him a few shout outs, and here he is filling up stadiums. So I got to bounce around. I've got some signings at Cowboy Christmas. I'm going to be hanging out the after party. Typically, I'll be watching and then hanging out at the after party, typically at the Mirage. That's where I'm going to be staying.
Rodeo
so
Vegas.
Come see me there. But really, the Rodeo Vegas party. Really one of those two places. I'm either going to the actual rodeo, and usually one night Cody and I will go together, and I'll let him buy me dinner. But outside of that, I'm either at Mirage or I'm at Cowboy Christmas there at the convention.
There you go. So Cowboy Christmas, I hear that you've had to double the size of your exhibit space.
Right. And I don't know why you sound so surprised, but absolutely. I go. We just cause a ruckus. I do not get along with fire marshals. We get people coming in out of the rafters to just lay hands on DB, get a strand of hair out of my head. So I don't know where we're going to be, but similar to Kojo's situation, just kind of growing out of our spot.
Yeah. Envy, tell him where he's going to be.
So we're putting you at NFR Central, still in development, but it'll be literally right in the middle of the first floor of Cowboy Christmas, not too far from Ram Rodeo, a few other folks. I want to say Classic Rope.
Ram Rodeo.
That's right. So it'll be right in the mix of good things, and hey, I think at the end of the day, with the crowds you bring, looking forward to seeing what happens with having an open floor. And yeah, you're right, man. I mean, the fire marshal definitely is has an open eye to you and always looking out the corner of their eye with you, but that couldn't be but a positive thing, actually.
Yeah, I'm a giver. I'm out here. I'm going to give back to these fans of mine, fans of rodeo, and that's what the NFR is all about. 10 days of the rodeo family coming together. There's going to be a lot of people there. We're there for the NFR, and some of them may not actually even go up to the performance, but that's why we're there. We all know it, and we're just going to join hands and cheer on my friends. A lot of people say, "Hey, why aren't you entered, Dale?" And I'm like, "Look, guys, these 15 bull riders entered. Those are my buddies. And what kind of friend would I be if I just swooped in there and just, won 10 rounds in a row? How are they going to look at me then? Am I going to have 15 friends? No, I'm going to have 0. So I just choose not to enter."
You'd have a gold buckle.
Yeah, I would have a gold buckle then, but I mean, I just got so many buckles right now. Envy. Bo's wearing one of my buckles. I gave it.
I is to retire soon with your professional bull riding career.
Yeah, like how do you keep this up, man?
A lot of people just can't believe how good I am in the first place. So of course they're not going to believe how is he, kind of like Trevor, except better. So, there's guys like Billy Epire. He, when did he go to his last NFR? What was he, 40? Ford went in the bareback riding when he was like 45. So, I mean, I figure at least double that, So I'll be going 90 when I'm 90.
Yeah. So
That's
you go to a lot of these. You go to a lot of rodeos. So can you tell us what it's like to work with all these different rodeo committees? I mean, maybe when you're not riding, you're working with the rodeo committees, just like when you're you're not performing at the NFR. You're working with Las Vegas events and Cowboy Christmas and the Mirage and all these other activities. So tell us what it's like working with these different rodeo committees.
Yeah, that's a good question, Bo, and I'm glad you asked it. This summer, two of my favorite stops that I've made are Cheyenne, the daddy of them all. Great committee. They're constantly moving forward. And then I went to Sykeston, kind of a medium outdoor, but just same exact thing. Great committee. And, when you go to these rodeos and you see a committee man, whether they have on that badge on their shirt or whatever it is, you basically can pick up really quick their passion for the sport, just like you do with the contestants, just like you do with loyal fans, just like you do with sponsors, with people running the D-Rig and Shoot. And, we each have to tap into whatever strengths we have and then use that to apply it to rodeo. For me, it's spurting bulls. But I think the backbone of the sport is rodeo committees. And Sykeston, for example, they're the junior chamber of commerce. So you have to be under 40 years old to be on the committee. And then once you turn 40, there's still volunteer positions available, but essentially they've got a young, fresh crowd coming in constantly, and they'll learn from what's already been done, and then they'll bring new ideas to the table. And it's a really interesting format. And what it has created is you've got young people, 21, 22 years old, that cannot wait for their turn to be the chairman of XYZ on the committee. And it's caused the whole community to join together. And now in this little farm town in Missouri, on the Saturday night, they'll have 11,000 people packed into this little arena. And so that's the backbone of rodeo. And there's rodeos like that all over the country.
Hey, Envy,
Texas,
that's not the first time we've heard of Sykeston, correct, Envy? I mean, didn't Boyd Pohemus tell us a little bit and educate us a little bit about the same rodeo committee? So it's fantastic that you all recognize that, and we recognize that. That's a neat tradition they have there.
I get an opportunity to be in Sykeston the whole rodeo, and so I get to know the committee personally, and so that's partially why Boyd and I, singled them out. They are outstanding, and they're one of the greatest, but there's a lot of them out there. So
I got a question. So since you obviously you see a lot of these committees and with the youth, are you seeing the kind of a bit more unique ideas that they've never seen before because of this? The younger generation is so connected, and so they're seeing things that are outside of the rodeo universe, probably looking that it could work in the rodeo universe, where that really didn't happen so much. I think definitely in 20 years and plus. But now, I mean, are you seeing a difference of unique ideas being brought to the table where they're way different, but yet kind of entertaining and could work?
Yes. Yes. I think there's a whole new wave of interest in the Western industry as a whole, and specifically rodeo. So Chris Ledoux had a song talking about how cowboys aren't, extinct. You just can't see them from the road. Well, now with the internet and social media, now you can see us from the road. And, a lot of people kind of look at what I'm doing, and basically at the end of the day, I'm trying to promote my faith. I'm trying to promote the sport of rodeo and the Western industry. And so every day, kids, whoever's tuning in, is getting an opportunity to witness what it's like to be a cowboy, to be a rodeo cowboy. And so probably the most often message to me is, how do I get started ranching? How do I get started riding bulls or getting on bucking horses? And I answer those questions for them. I send them to certain people depending on where they live and what their question is. My point is some of these kids, they're going to get involved and they might become the next world champion bareback rider. Some of them, they might just become a fan. Some of them are going to find themselves on a committee. Some of them are going to be a sponsor. And the internet has basically shown, because the lives that we live, whether it's going up and down the road rodeoing or whether it's somebody that owns a horse and just wants to ride in the Grand Entry at Ellensburg, these lives that we live are very interesting. And now that people are becoming aware of those lifestyles, they want to be a part of it. And that's why I believe over the next 5 and 10 years, and even sooner than that, we're going to see a large number of people flowing into our lifestyle. And it's going to mean more sales with companies. It's going to mean more rodeo tickets. It's going to mean more sponsors, anyways. I'm really excited about the future of our sport because of the awareness of it. And that's my goal every day. And I think that it's going to bring not only new ideas to the table, but just passionate bodies ready to go to work.
So you answered the question I was just going to ask. What are your what's the state of rodeo look like? And you just really painted that picture, and it sounds like it's a really good one. And Casey Jones almost said about the same thing about I mean, honestly, we just talked to him last week, Dale. He talked about the same thing that you could. He referenced Ned Ledoux as well, but he was talking about you could never see us before, now you can. And the other thing too, I'm just going to throw this out there. As I've discovered as a guy from the city, there's a treasure trove of tradition. And when you think about content and the discovery model of what we're dealing with today, man, once you dive into rodeo, you start discovering about 1 million stories and traditions that have been going on for quite a bit. And it just adds more to what this is. That was a great response to that. So here's just one more for you. What are your goals for 2020?
My goals for 2020. Oh, man. Well, here's the thing about goals, Envy. I set them, I reach them, I blast them out of the water, I double them, and it gets a little monotonous. It gets a little mundane for me to just go 90. And, every time I go 90, I retire my pair of riding jeans.
Nice.
Well, going through that many hundreds of pairs of jeans in January alone gets a little redundant. So, basically what I'm getting at is I'm gonna try to give back even more to my community as far as in the form of videos. So, it's almost like I've been cashing in the chips at these bull ridings for so long. It's time for me to show the world, hey, this is how I live my life. So I'm going to do more videos, essentially. So, tune in because 2020 is right around the corner. You know what? And I also might run for president.
Nice. All right.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
That would be that's a pretty bold goal right there.
You know what? I see a lot of division in rodeo between roughies and timies, and I'm here to bridge that gap. And the first thing I'm going to do is no more arenas where the buck and shoots are on the opposite end of the timed event shoots. What I'm going to do is it's going to be either side deliveries or it's got to be on the same end. That's where we're going to start.
Yes.
Perfect. What do you think your vote will be? Will you get a good vote on that? Or is that something you have to fight for, you think?
I'm going to have to fight for it. It's going to be a lot of time and money. I think free health care for bullfighters.
Nice.
Okay.
The bullfighters, they're just, being a bull rider, people may feel like I'm biased, but that's just the platform I'm standing on right now. So, Justin Sports Medicine.
Well, you got to have a platform, right?
Correct.
Yep. And my cabinet's probably going to be mainly mahogany, but I haven't decided yet. I may go with cherry. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to seem prejudiced or, one-sided, so you got to have a variety.
I may have part of it cedar. Part of it might be cedar. I don't know.
Oh, that would look great.
Maybe some knotty pine even. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all the way to the White House with
that. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh man, this was good. Hey, Dale, thank you for coming on once again. It's always a pleasure. Not sure what we're going to expect, but it is what we expect, and it's great. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yes, sir. No problem. Envy, Bo, always a pleasure. And call me back anytime, and we'll chat it up, old son. The last bit of life advice from Dale Brisby is always give 100% unless you're donating blood. Pow, pow.
Hey,
there you go.
One quick question though before you jump off. Are you totally forgot to ask this. You coming here for the PBR World Finals?
I typically do. Yes, sir. I usually buzz in there for a couple of days and hang out. And I know I'm making a trip to Vegas in September. Leroy and I will be there. So we'll have to swing in and see you guys.
Yeah,
but I may have to I like to make 3 or 4 trips at least a year to Vegas. So it is my home away from home. I absolutely love coming to Vegas.
Well, cool.
Well, your new home's going to be NFR Central. So just we've built that place up, and Michael, Eminem, NB, those guys, they got you a new home. New place to live during the day, a Cowboy Christmas. So make sure you invite your fans and your cabinet members to come down and see you.
Yeah. Oh, they'll be there. Don't worry.
All right, Dale. Good talking to you, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all too.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Hi, I'm 8-time world champion bull rider Donnie Gay, and you're listening to NFR Extra.
Well, that sums up episode 13, Bo. And man, it was a #1 hit. I think we had on our hands here with Cody Johnson.
Great way to put that, NV.
Yeah, absolutely.
This will be a #1 hit podcast, NFR Extra.
It'll move up the charts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Dale Brisby and Cody Johnson, for joining us. We look forward to seeing both of you in Las Vegas during the Wrangler NFR.
Don't forget, join us in 2 weeks when we bring on Rockin' Robbie and Joe Beaver. That's right, Joe Beaver, everybody.
Is that Rockin' Robbie Hodges, the guitarist?
Correct.
Wait, he also paints his face too, doesn't he?
And he does something after he gets that done too, I believe.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah. And Joe, that'd be a sweet touch.
Yes.
He's very heavily involved in the rodeo business, whether it be in front of a camera. He used to pull down calves. It's gonna be a nice one.
Tune in.
And don't forget to subscribe. iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play. Anywhere you listen to the NFR Extra podcast.
Gotta make it out to Vegas, where the big boys roam, with the rovers and the racers and the